Okay, so welcome back. Now we're going to be going with a strong pair with a weak pair now. Okay? When I go strong versus weak pair. Now, isn't this normally looking like strong? If I put the strongest pair, which says going strongly up, against a weak pair, then what it's going to do, the chart's going to look like this. It's going to be awesome. I should buy that. I'm going to make a lot of money because it has so much force, so much power. Isn't that the way the brain thinks that how logic works? And that's absolutely correct. Now, I want you to wait for a moment, though. Don't celebrate just yet. Even though that logic is correct, thinking that if I pair a strong pair with a weak pair, it should skyrocket. Yes, it will skyrocket. Here's the problem. Here's your aha moment coming up now. It took me years and years and years to realize that when I was doing correlation and I was pairing up these strong versus weaks and stuff like that, I was thinking, well, if I want to buy and the price is pulling back, don't I want to be in the pair that's going to move the fastest and the strongest? So it's like, well, that has to be a strong pair versus a weak pair, which is like a +5 combined together with a -5 or a -6. I was like, oh, that would have been awesome. It's just going to skyrocket. But every time I kept getting stopped out. And then the trade would go and they would go so much. And I was like, what in the world is happening? Every time I get stopped out. But then later on when I did my research to figure it out, I was like, it is correct. I did pick the best pair because it travels the furthest, because it's so powerful. But I just couldn't get on. And after years and years and years of research into this, here's a solution of why this happens. Let me show you. It comes down that I was shifted away from the basic fundamentals of how trading works. Trading, just like any business, is the same. For someone to make money, the other person has to transfer money to them. Correct? So, in trading, if you want to be a winner, someone on the other side has to make a mistake and has to make a loss. Correct? So, this objective of if the markets are going up, like this, if the market is strong as a 5 and a -5, let's say, okay, these are very strong numbers, okay, the pullback obviously is going to be very shallow because they're so strong, right? I want you to think this way. If you, let's say the big boy, you're the big boy, okay? If you're that buyer, for you to buy, someone's got to sell you something. Do you think people are selling when they see a massive upward movement come in and the sells are struggling like that? No, they're not going to pump in their money. They're too afraid. In fact, they're probably participating. They're saying, I'm coming along with you. So there's no sellers. If there's no sellers, how's it going to go up? How is this guy down here going to say, oh man, I made some serious money with this thing? That's why in these special moments, an unusual moment happens. So if I zoom into this area, this is how this is going to look. So the markets are going down, pull back, going down, pull back, going down. A very shallow V formation, preparing for a takeoff. It's very, very like shallow pullback, right? It's like, okay, if I buy from here, I got to take it out till here. It looks very shallow. But with the knowledge of, I know this is extremely powerful, not many sellers are participating in this, which means, hold on, do not buy it right now. That used to be my personal number one mistake. Because right here, even though the pattern and the structure and the idea is correct, this would happen. Boom. Very aggressively. That activates all the sellers. They're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's going. Let's get into it. Right? Isn't that what happens? Everyone jumps in on it. Now they're confident the sell is going to work. Because now all the idea of, oh, it can't go up forever, that logic comes in. Well, it's gone up too high, it must come down. That logic comes in. So you have all sorts of gamblers activating sells at this point. But at this point, no one's doing anything because they're afraid. In fact, they're into buys. And as a buyer, if you're the big boy, you don't want to really share the money with all the little guys trying to buy. You want to change the turn of the markets to make a good profit. So a sudden move happens down, and it can then spike up, but it may not give you a test back. It just goes up and then it takes off. Okay?